You could see how slow the response is coming out, which is so slow. But we're going to now offload everything to the GPU, and we can go, right? All of a sudden we have infinitely faster processing. So first things first, I'm making this video because I want to actually mess up my NVIDIA drivers on Linux. We're doing this because we want to install CUDA. The reason why we want to install a CUDA version that works with our graphics card is so that we can process data faster. CPU, for example, has 24 threads, right? 12 cores, 24 threads. With our GPU, though, we have 7,680 CUDA cores, right? So when you have thousands of threads versus only a few dozen threads, you know, if we have our CPU interpreting a large amount of data, it starts to bottleneck, right? You're trying to shove all this information into such a small room, as opposed to your graphics card, which is like just a ginormous room, right? So you can just have a lot of more massive information running in parallel to each other, right? As opposed to if you're trying to cram a whole bunch of things into a smaller space. Just think about your space time, how much space we have relative to how much time we are going to take to compute something. Obviously, if you have more space, you can have less time to compute things, right? Let's do this. Make sure we just removed that. Now we're just going to clean up the dependencies. I'm going to remove it from the stack driver. We're just going to delete those. I'm just going to verify that it's all cleaned out and be able to show you guys. Okay, so nothing's installed. So now it's failing to even start because we don't have CUDA installed anymore, right? So my other version worked because the CPU was still, because it's still running on CPU. This version no longer works because it was running off of CUDA. So now we can just restart our system and get back to reinstalling. So now let's see if we actually load back into our Linux system. Yeah, okay, so this screen isn't even working. Yeah. All right, so as you can see, that like pulled up really slowly because I don't even have any of my NVIDIA drivers installed. All right, well, this is all really slow and jittery. So first things first, we're going to install our NVIDIA drivers. So we can just do sudo apt. So we're going to install just our basic drivers so that we can get this working again. So we're going to do sudo apt update. And now we're going to go sudo apt install NVIDIA driver 590 open. So now we're going to reboot. So I'll be right back. I'm going to now restart my computer. And you're going to see that only one monitor is going to appear. I'm going to show why that is. And this is after installing the drivers properly. Only one monitor will work properly. So as you can see, only one single monitor is working. This one is not, this one is. If I go into my computer, you could see it's extremely slow. So what we're going to do is we're going to power off. Okay, so we're turning it back on now again. So we're hitting our delete key in order to enter BIOS. Okay, and we've entered BIOS. And we are going over to our boot options, right? So our boot option for me. And we're going to go down to secure boot, and we're going to go disable, and we will reboot. And as you can see, we now have both monitors working. And there you go. Okay, back on my Linux with everything working. I have my monitor over here now, my monitor over here. Let's verify that this worked, even though we know it worked because we have both monitors on, but let's just verify it. Right. Okay, so CUDA 13.1. I do not think that this will work still because the CUDA is not properly linked. But let's try. And as I thought, it did not. So first things first, we need to get the CUDA repository, right? So let's just copy and paste that. All right. Next, we're going to move it. Next, we're going to add the CUDA key plus the repository. And we're going to install it. Now we're going to do a update to our apps. Alrighty. Now we're going to try to do the Toolkit install again. And as you can see, it went through. We're going to do Y for that. Yep, so that's going to install into right here, which, I mean, we can verify that if we want. Don't really need to, but just in case, we're going to, you know, yeah. Anywho, yeah, so we're going to edit now our paths. And we're going to do that by coming all the way down to the bottom. And we're going to just copy this and paste it right into there. Y. Yes. All right. So now we're going to verify the installation. Which, as you can see it right there with the proper version of CUDA installed. We're going to check the path, which it is in the correct spot. And yeah, so now when we do run our program, obviously we can then now run it with CUDA. Right? Super fast. Right? Latest Egypt news, right? Searching the internet, getting our information, and it's interpreting a large amount of information. So that is successful. Again, this is for the 50 series, right? Running on CUDA 13.1 on Linux. And so for anybody who was having trouble with that, that's what that's for. I would like to also, let's do this. In this file, we're just changing, I'm changing my GPU layers right here. And we're not offloading anything to the GPU. So we're just turning that off. And now you can see if I go high, all of a sudden the text is a lot slower because we're not offloading to the GPU, right? As opposed to if we do offload to the GPU, it's almost instant, right? So let's do this again. And we're gonna go like this. So that we search the web, right? So we're getting our searches, and then it's using that to construct our response. But you could see how slow the response is coming out. It's very slow because it had to take in a lot of information, use that information to then construct what the output that it's doing right now, which is so slow. But we're going to now offload everything to the GPU, and we can go right. All of a sudden we have infinitely faster processing. So that's the benefit of using CUDA and mounting your LLMs to CUDA, or to be processed through your GPU. And yeah, obviously it is way faster than using CPU, and to get it working within a Linux environment takes a little bit of finessing. So hope this helped. Anyways, see y'all later. Peace. Remember to like and subscribe if you found any of this information useful. See you next time.